is you reflect on your life that you've spent, not only in religious life, but your creative life. I'm just curious, what have you learned about God or life, capital L life, through
Hmm.
creativity? That's another softball question, I know.
Well, that is a softball question becoming hardball, I think is what but I think what I'm thinking here, but the first thing that comes off the top of my head when I look back on my uh, creative life and my life of prayer, which have been joined together from the minute I started writing. Um, I think what I'm most aware of today is how much of our lives is about gift and about not meriting or deserving of things that happen that are marvelous. Something happens and it's a gift of God. And so I am much more daring. I'm writing a new book of poetry now in just trusting the gift. It's coming from the Spirit. It's coming from God, and just let it come and enjoy it and be thankful for it and try to make it on the page. The Greek word poeta means a maker, and I'm making, and the word stanza, a stanza of poetry is Italian word stanza. It's a room, and I have this empty room when I look at a page, and I'm going to put furniture in there. I'm going to rearrange it and all of this. So it becomes more of everything coming being a gift, and how would it fit in this picture? Instead of saying, well, that doesn't quite fit now, so but let it come and then see what the final uh, what the outcome is of that. It's the same thing in prayer. If you go in with one intention, or you hope that this is going to be this, and all of a sudden it's anything but what you thought it was going to be,
Yep.
and you're trying to be open to it. And if you receive it as a gift and then bless it, it will be. And so that's a lot of what I just noticed that about my last 4 or 5 poems have had a lot to do about death. And I say, now where is that coming from, a young guy like me? What is this? What is happening here? But I wouldn't say, well, I better not write that. It might take me somewhere I don't want to go. And I said, why? Why would I be afraid to go? It's a great gift. It's a portal into something that might deepen my love of the journey all the way to the end and beyond. So uh, that's kind of what I'm kind of so much aware of right now. And and that being so, whenever anything comes, I mean, I practically stop. I'm glad I'm not a race car driver or something, because I'd have to stop the car and write it down. I get up in the middle of the night and I write whatever it is because it's a gift. It might never come again. And I'm so aware of that. I have been my whole life, but not as poignantly as I do now. When something comes, I don't say, "Oh, I can't do that. I won't have enough years to even do." I just say, "Wow, well, look at this. Let's see
Yeah.
where it goes." And so that's been one of the things I've learned. Uh,
It's beautiful.
And I've
Yeah.
also learned that, in one sense, my life, your life, our lives, those who pray, my life is a prayer. It's becoming a prayer. And so is your life and her life and their lives. A life lived sincerely with a longing for God is a prayer.
Yes.
Your life itself. Um, and sometimes you have the time to pray more deeply, or write, or dance, or sing, or paint, or whatever it is. But there's more time than at others. But you're still in the game. You're still the little boy or the little girl who wondered who God is.
Mm.
And will I ever see God? Is he an old man? Is somebody told me the other day her little granddaughter, who had not the parents of her granddaughter are unchurched. So she or another woman took the little girl to church. She said, "Would you like to go?" And she said, "Oh, yes." And so she goes and she comes into the church and she said, "Why is that man hanging up there on that cross? Who is that?" And they said, "Well, that's Jesus." And she said, "Oh, no, it's not. Jesus is a baby."
Hmm. Hmm.
And
Yeah. Yeah.
that is her God, at
Yeah.
the time of her living. And of course, who God is in each of our lives is much more expansive and profound and deep than what we could even imagine.
Yeah.
But if you've continued to pray and continue to try to be in a space where God can find you, you God God changes
Yeah.
for you. He's
Yep.
not the God God, of course, is eternal, but that's nice. Who can connect with that? It's 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 how I experience God now. How I know that God is in my life. I know God is touching me here. Uh, uh, Sometimes you can even break into tears, and you don't know why you're crying. And you could be in church, you could be walking down the street, you could be taking a shower, you just don't know. But there is something that is tremendously important to you that's trying to break through somehow and tell you that it's there, and it wants to make friends with you somehow
Hmm.
or connect with you. So it's like living in the spirit is living in the body. It's who you are right now. I keep over my desk all the time this quote from 1 Corinthians, Paul 15 to 44. What is sown a physical body is raised a spiritual body. If there is a physical body, there is also a spiritual body. They are one. They're one. And so to live in the spirit is to live in your own skin, in touch with the spirit part of who you are. Um, I don't know why that touches me so, but it does.
Yeah.
That's I guess it's because so throughout my life, in my own life and in other people's lives, I've seen. people trying to become spiritual, whatever that means, and they're running away from the body,
Yeah.
or they are trying to become a spirit or something, and they're trying to ascend upward, and God is coming down, becoming incarnate, and we mix each other.
Hmm.
It's so obvious where God is because we're going up and he's scratching his head coming down. He's going to be a baby. He is going
Yeah.
to be a human being. This is the incarnation for Franciscans, is the center of all spirituality, the incarnation of God. God actually becomes human, just like us, except for sin. That's what Paul said. He knew a
Yeah.
few things. He he he. Sometimes he sounds like he knows everything, but he does. He really is a writer who you say, where? It's got to come from God. He
Yep.
knows so much. And of course, he's writing his epistle to the Romans before the four gospels were even written,
Sure.
you know.
Yeah.
And so
Yep.
he really kind of founded Christianity in one sense,
Mm-hmm.
but he found language, or language found him.
Mm-hmm.
That's another way of putting it. In the beginning was the Word, but the Word became flesh and dwelt among us. It's like the all of those all of those things that tend to separate are not good in my vocabulary. Separate people, separate soul from body, separate this
Yeah.
things which integrate are are of God, because if everything is of God. And so to bring all that together in your life, um, Thomas, or not Thomas, what's his name? John Keats, writing to his brother once, who lived in Kentucky, of all places in America. He was writing to him, and he says that um, Earth, or life on Earth, is a veil, VALE, a valley. It's
Mm-hmm.
a veil of soul making. We're learning to make our souls. And it sounds like you don't have a soul, you have to make one. But there is something about accepting that gift that you have a soul. Now, what are you going to do with it?